Hello, everyone, and good afternoon from Dubai. Is my audio clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, welcome to our 71st live webinar. My name is Mylene Chan, and I am delighted to be here with you today again, alongside the TDCC training team. And we are excited to bring you another interesting topic today. AAC in the classroom. On behalf of TDCC, we would like to thank our 128 advocates from 12 countries who registered for this session today. So, to those who have joined us live, thank you for your time and presence. And we are also live on YouTube. We would like to acknowledge our registrants from Finland, from Saudi Arabia, Namibia, South Africa, India, UAE, Philippines, from Egypt, Canada, US, Qatar, and Pakistan. So wherever you are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Before we begin, let me share a short video about TDCC and our esteemed speaker for today. Thank you.
Welcome to the TDCC Community Live webinar.
TDCC stands for the Developing Child Center located in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, UAE.
Established in 2012. We have been providing personalized support to over 1,000 children. We have 60 dedicated and committed experts, and we work closely with parents and schools to ensure no child is left behind. We think different, we teach different. We empower, not limit children. Labels like autism, dyslexia, and ADHD are not relevant or perceived as disabilities, difficulties, or disorders that limit children's abilities. We believe that brilliance needs difference. The TDCC services are available in English, French, and Arabic. The inclusive educational services nurture and support the developmental and educational needs and help empower each child to reach their full potential. Occupational therapy assists children in performing and achieving important learning and developmental skills they need in life. Psychomotor therapy is a healthcare profession that is based on a holistic view of the person and is involved in the treatment of different disorders. Speech and language therapy assists children who have disorders of speech, language, communication, and swallowing. Psychology provides both educational and clinical services, including counseling and parenting. ABA therapy focuses on improving specific behaviors. It is commonly practiced as a therapeutic intervention for individuals with autism. Specialist learning support. We assist in developing the academic and social development of students who need support in all these areas. And we design and host local and international training and workshops for practitioners, parents, caregivers, and educators. Just like this one today. We have a few rules to follow during the webinar. Please remain muted while the speaker is presenting. Please give your full attention to the presentation. We will be sending you the replay, so you can review it anytime. Please be interactive if the speaker requests your participation. During the question and answer session, we kindly request everyone to type their questions in the chat box and the speaker will address them.
Welcome to TDCC's 71st webinar, Augmentative and Alternative Communication in the Classroom. We are honored to welcome back our speaker, Vilahashini Manivannan. Vila is a passionate speech and language therapist and AAC specialist with over 9 years of experience supporting children with autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, and a wide range of communication disorders. She holds both a master's and bachelor's degree in audiology and speech-language pathology, and her training includes internationally recognized certifications such as ADUS 2, the CERTS model, the Hanan More Than Words program, AVAS AAC, and the Comprehensive Sensory Motor Intervention Workshop. Known for her collaborative approach, Vila has worked closely with educators, parents, and caregivers to ensure that children receive consistent and effective support across all settings. She is deeply committed to evidence-based practice and finds nothing more rewarding than witnessing the progress of the children she supports and celebrating each milestone with their families. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all welcome Vila.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my presentation about AAC in the classroom. Let's go ahead and start the presentation.
Hello, Vila. You may share screen now. Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you.
Is it
Oh,
visible to everybody?
yes. We see it
Okay.
clear. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you. Thank you. I've been presenting about AAC for a long time now in the TDCC, and they have welcomed my webinars for a long time. And somehow, this is not a topic that we've covered so far in the program. We've seen about different perspectives on AAC, we've seen the basics, we've seen how it is in practice, but the big question is how AAC is being used in different places. And one of the main places that we want to address is the classroom, right? Because I can do so many things with the kids in the session, and that's one on one. But what the kids learn and take with them to the classroom, where it matters, that's where the importance lies, right? So today we're going to be seeing about how AAC works in a classroom. Um, with this presentation, we're gonna cover different things, but mainly what I would want to take for you to take away from this webinar or presentation is that how it is for a kid with different with difficulties to be in a classroom, and especially a communication difficulty because I'm a speech therapist, how it is for them to be in the classroom, and then how difficult it is for them to access communication and access different things because of communication, right? And we're going to see how AAC supports it, and we're going to see some strategies that teachers can really use and make that experience amazing for them. This is the general overview of the presentation. So, we're going to start the presentation with a question as usual. So, what is the common difficulties or disabilities that you guys see for kids in an inclusive setup, or like in different school programs, school readiness programs, or early intervention programs? What is a common disability that you guys see? Yeah. Okay. Autism, yes. Speech and language, socializing difficulty, okay. And then speech delays. You can be broader. It doesn't have, okay. Communication seems to be the most biggest difficulty, okay. All right. So I think that everyone is interaction, socialization, communication, expressing needs. Okay. Other than communication, what are the difficulties that you see? Do you see kids with hearing impairment, kids with locomotor disabilities? Yes, hearing, fine motor, okay. Visible, okay. Vision difficulties. All right. So thank you for sharing all your answers. I just wanted to give that idea that there's way many difficulties that a kid could experience in a class, and there needs to be different avenues that we can explore to support them when they're in a class. So what is one common to just address it, right, to just put things in perspectives? Let me just give you a very, very common difficulty or disability that existed long ago, which is, of course, your reading, your glasses, right? So when you have difficulties with your vision, and when you experience vision difficulties, this is how we are addressing it now. So right now we don't really have a problem of, when there is a vision difficulty, we can just go to the doctor, get a glass and get a prescription, and then we are fitting it and then we're done, right? But how did people see well before glasses existed? Okay, so to know this, we're gonna delve a little bit deep into history. So first, in 1000 AD, so Middle East scholars from here actually, they used reading stones to see manuscripts when they had to read. So this was only for the scholars where the reading stones were, available for. And after that, the need persisted, and it was seen in different cultures. So Chinese scholars and Roman scholars, they started to also have different needs, and they started to use transparent stones. So you can see how, because of an existing difficulty, people are coming with solutions, right? Because there was a need for it. But if you can see here, it's still a need for only scholars. So you can say this is like, oh, this is just a need for scholars. I don't really need it, right? But then we have to see, they were asked, like, was poor eyesight really a disability at that time or not? Without the glasses, poor vision, poor eyesight did lead to vision loss, right? So it was a form of disability. And at that time, they did not have glasses. Right now, you have glasses to support you so you don't lead into vision loss. But imagine in that time when they did not have access to glasses, right? So they would be leading into vision loss because they don't have any access to it. So it was a form of disability, but due to the increased interest in the 15th century, because printing press and books were started to be published and printed, so now the demand for the glasses increased, because it's not just scholars who are reading books, there's other people are starting to read. So now they're starting to notice that, okay, so more people need glasses. So we need different things. We cannot just do with reading stones. There's a need for invention and to innovate and find the solution to a problem that we have. So the demand increased. And after that, in the 18th and 19th century, that's when the glasses started to become available and more innovations took place. So you can see how something that started as a specific need for scholars, and then it became a problem of everybody, then it was addressed, and then it was solved very soon, and then so many innovations took place. So why do we need to know about this? Is because when someone has a need, let's say in 10 persons there's one person with a need, you have to support them, because when you support them, their benefits can give you access tomorrow when you have a difficulty too. So we should always try to include the person and not think, oh, out of the 10 just one person is having this difficulty, right? So I don't really care, everybody else can work without it. So that's fine. Just like that, we have to take into account everyone's specific need. And when we provide a solution collectively, then you can see innovations like this. And this innovation has become so common that, we don't really think that vision loss is like a disability right now. Yes, of course, in specific cases, there are serious difficulties and concerns. But then is eyesight, like a short sight or long sight, a problem? No, you just go to the doctor, you get the glasses, and you're set. So this is how inclusion works. When you start to include people and find solutions for them and work together, then you find solutions for all of us and not just them. So this was an example that I wanted to share, and other disabilities that do exist that we see in classrooms is definitely the locomotor disability, and then we see hearing impairment. So this is aided by different assistive technologies. And then now we have the AAC, which is alternative and augmentative and alternative communication. This is starting to become more and more used in classrooms, and teachers are finding different strategies to use it, or finding concerns like, how do I use this? This is so new. We don't know. So, but this is something that supports a child's communication in the class when they're not able to access it, right? So, this is what we're going to see how we're going to access it in the classroom. So, what does a classroom look like for a child with disability? It can look like two things. Either it can look like an opportunity, or it can look like an obstacle. So, the people who work with the kid in the class are the one who decides it. They can make a child's life full of opportunities, or it can be an obstacle where it's like, okay, I'm coming to this class, I'm not really sure what to do, I am feeling lost. Or a child can come to the class feeling like, okay, I don't know what to do, but my teacher is going to help me figure this out. This is what we want. We don't want answers. We just want support. We want to know that the person is there who's going to support us. When that happens, there's so many magic that can happen in the classroom. So, what is a classroom for you guys? Like, when you think about a classroom and what does it mean to kids? What do you think what do you think it is? What do you think a classroom could mean for kids? Anyone? Can I not see the messages? Okay, it's a collaborative place for learning. Yes, it's a support system. That's true.
Hi,
Okay,
Mila.
it's
Can you put back your screen on full, please?
is it okay now? Okay, it's a learning environment. Yes, all right. So a classroom is all these things, right? And what else does a classroom mean for kids? So, a classroom is a place where kids build meaningful relationships. It's the first place where they see teachers, they see their friends. This is the first step out of home for so many kids. And for some kids, it happens very later in life. For some kids, it happens at a younger age. So, this is a place where they're stepping out of home and they're trying to be in a place that's new to them, but it's somewhere they build their meaningful relationships. And then next, it's also a place where kids start to learn to advocate for themselves. It's like, I need this, I need this, I don't want this, stop this, say this, teacher, can I have this? These are the questions that kids usually ask. They learn to understand what is advocating for themselves. When teachers when kids go to the teachers and complain, oh, this boy did this, this girl is doing this, they are jumping, they're not listening. So when they start to talk like that, they are trying to let you know what's going on, and they learn to also advocate for themselves. They learn that, okay, this is not okay. They learn to establish boundaries, and they start to learn the same things in their life when they go out of the school too. So this is the first place that they learn to do that. And then it's also a very safe place to be themselves. You know how kids with disabilities and difficulties, when they go out into the real world, like they go out and they go for shopping or movies, there's so many difficulties that parents encounter or even kids encounter, and there's so much judgment, and there's so much stigma that exists in this world, right? Even when we're in 2025. But a classroom and a school can be that place which is safe for the kids, where they can be understood and have a person that understands them, have friends that understand them. So all these things can happen in a classroom, and it's not just about academics or sports. There's so many things about life that a child is learning. So in this classroom, teacher will be your first friend, because they are the ones who understand, who are trying to understand and try to teach kids out of their home. They're not the parent, but they are as the first friend, because they have the good rapport. They understand what the kids want. They establish goals with the kids. They work activities, but they also are very open and understanding. So this is the kind of impact that a teacher can have on the kid who's in your classroom, right? And a teacher can bring about a lot of changes and a lot of impact from the kid. So, how is the teacher going to use the AAC, and what is the role of an AAC in the classroom? This is a very important understanding that we need to have before going into the strategies. So, what happens when you're using an AAC in the classroom? First is promoting active participation, right? When a child is not able to access communication by speech, and they have an AAC with them, this allows them to participate in the class, because kids are very aware of what's going on around them. They see other people, they see kids communicating through speech, or they're communicating through visuals. But if they are not able to do it, they do recognize it. Just because a kid has autism or ADHD does not mean their intelligence is less. Their intelligence might be great, and they might be very smart. So, and they might be very emotionally intelligent kids who understand. They just don't know how to communicate, right? So when they see all these things and they have an AAC that supports them, it really makes them want to participate more actively when they did not know before how to participate, right? And then it also reduces communication breakdowns, and then also helps them establish boundaries in the class. What doesn't an AAC do? An AAC does not make the student communicate automatically. A lot of the times, there's a perception that when you give an AAC, when you give an iPad with an AAC app in it, that they will start communicating almost instantly. That's not how it works, right? They still need to know how it's being used, because just imagine everybody around you is speaking. So, how would I know how to use this device to communicate with you? I don't even know what is communication. I just see people talking around me, right? So that's not how that works. And also, it does not work the same way for every student. There might be students who pick AAC up very quickly. They might be very quick learners, and they might just get it in a few months. And there might be kids who need time and patience. And, the more modeling you do with them, the more you support them. So it's not a one size fits all approach for every kid. You need to figure out how AAC works for different kids. And AAC doesn't solve the behavior problem. Yes. So AAC is supporting the behaviors by helping the kids allowing them to communicate. But it does not make everything go away in one day. You need to continue to work. They need to understand how to communicate their frustration, how to communicate. This is an ongoing process that might take a long time. So just because they have an iPad, like, doesn't mean that the behavior will be gone. So these are some of the points of what you can expect from an AAC and what will an AAC not do in the class. So actually doing it in the classroom with AAC. So there are some precursors to knowing to using an AAC in the classroom, meaning that when you know these things, you are preparing yourself for using the AAC. So these are some of the points that I wanted to highlight is accessibility, and setting yourself up for success, implementing the AAC, and using peers to engage with the kids who are using AAC. The fifth and final point will be a mystery point. So first, we're gonna look at accessibility, right? So first thing that we need to know, these are some technical know-hows for teachers, is that we need to make sure that the device is accessible to the kids at all times. You need to have it on your table, or you need to have it on the kids' table, or anywhere they go. If you're not able to carry the device all the time, all around, have your cohort chat printed and pasted on the wall. So you can just run to it and point if something goes wrong, right? Or you can have some low-tech AAC core boards that's printed out and easily accessible, or you can make some visuals available in the keychain. This way you're making a more and more accessible AAC for the kids. It doesn't just, the AAC is not just the iPad, it's a system. So AAC iPad is a part of that system, right? So you have to make sure that the device is accessible, and you need to have a charger in the class, because most of the time, unfortunately, when the sometimes when the parents send the devices, the charge is out in the morning and you don't know what to do, because you have a whole day ahead of you and you don't have a charged AAC device. So you need to have a charger for your iPad to have in hand. And next, the device is only for communication. Make sure that you establish this boundary with the kid, because if they are using it for other purposes, like watching YouTube or doing any other apps, accessing any other apps, then it wouldn't feel like, especially for beginning AAC users, it wouldn't feel like a device that is used for communication. They're just going to think that this is another task that I'm expected to do. This is just something that is not really related to communication. It's just another task for me. So make sure you have that boundary. Offer other alternatives. You can offer another iPad where you have all the fun stuff, or you're doing other activities. But when you have an AAC, it's supposed to be the sole thing that is used in that iPad or Android device. Have a protective cover, have a sturdy cover. When you have a sturdy cover, we do experience a lot of meltdowns, of a lot of frustrations. So it's important to maintain with a sturdy AAC cover, so that does not get thrown away and broken down. And then we can substitute it with low tech. When the device does run out of battery, or something happens to the device, it gets broken, then you have low tech to help the kid access communication. So this is about accessibility. Now we're going to setting yourself up for success. So this is a visual schedule, right? What does a visual schedule help you with in the class? What does a visual schedule help you with in the class? Can you tell me share some answers for that question? For the teachers, from a teacher's perspective, what do you think a visual schedule will do? Routine, okay. That's correct. That's an idea. Other than that, how does it help kids when they have a visual schedule in the class? Transitions, kids feel prepared and know what to accept. Make communication easier. Preparation, okay. Okay, so they have, from what you are saying, you are sharing that they have an idea of what's going to happen next. They have an idea of what to expect. The same way, the teachers also should set them up for success. Set yourselves up for success too. It's when you're having an AAC and you don't know how to use it, you need to figure out and be prepared before the kid is there. If you have a kid and you're doing an activity and you're struggling for the words, struggling for something else, you are losing the child's attention. So how to set yourself up for success is what we're going to see. When you are prepared, you know what to model, you know what to expect, you know how you're going to respond if the kid does this. So when you are prepared, you will achieve the success with AAC. So we are going to see some points how to set yourself up for success. First is familiarizing yourself with the device. This is one of the most crucial and most important points when you are preparing for your AAC, is that when you see a screen like this, it's like it can be very complicated. It looks like, oh, I don't know where this word is. Oh, I'm searching for yourself. You need to prepare yourself by modeling, right? You don't have to know all these words on the screen, but pick a few words. Think about your activities that you are going to do, what words you're going to model, what words you want the kid to point. When you think of, let's say, 5 to 10 words, 5 to 10 words out of this is not very difficult, right? I'm sure a lot of people are going to use I want you more finish. Just know this and start with this. When you start with this and you build that consistency, then slowly you can familiarize with the whole page, right? A lot of the times I get asked that, isn't this too complicated for the kids? Should we have a grid with lesser? This grid is chosen to support motor learning of the kids, right? Because if you have a page with smaller buttons, like less number of buttons on it, when the kids do achieve it and you are increasing the number of buttons on the page, then the buttons places are going to change. And when that changes, that will confuse the child even more, because they have learned that this button is in this place, in the top right corner. And when it's not in the top right corner anymore, that's going to be a problem, right? So it's up to us to familiarize ourselves with the device and not with the kids. The kids can choose. If you give a kid an iPad, they can scroll and they can choose YouTube very well, even if there is like 100 icons on the iPad. So it's up to us to familiarize ourselves what words we want from the kid during that activity. Just be sure of that. You don't have to know about everything. So first step is familiarizing yourself with the device. Next is setting yourself up for success. Target high interest activities, especially when you're introducing an AAC to someone, to a kid who has never used AAC before, or they were using something else that was not that did not support them adequately. That time you need to engage them in really high interest activities, right? You don't want to try something new. You want to know that, okay, I have this communication app, they're going to use this. So you need to have activities that they would want to talk to you about, or would want to talk to you during the activity. So when you don't have that, then it will be really difficult to build that bond in the activity, and even more difficult to have communication during that activity. This also includes YouTube. Even if it's a bit it's unpopular, YouTube, watching YouTube together, it's not extremely good, it's not extremely bad. Everything in for a limited time is not bad, right? When you're watching a video, you can suggest the video, and you can describe, you can comment, you can imitate, you can do so many things with a video. And that would not deter a kid from being just fully on fully like attached to the video. Even if you're just imitating, that the kid is going to see, oh, someone enjoys this video just like me, so I want to talk to this girl about it, or I want to ask this girl, I want more of this, or I want some other video, I don't want this, or I want to say I like this. So there are so many opportunities even while watching videos. Other than that, we love bubbles, we love trampolines, all these activities will help you build that high interest and high connection between the teacher and the student in the class. And then we have literacy based activities. Of course, you can also use the keyboard, which is a very less explored option in my opinion when we are using an AAC. Kids can spell, count letters, and all these are very valid activities. They can sing about the alphabets, they can order the alphabets. This will really really help you later when they are very good at alphabets with literacy activities. And plan when will you use the device. This is also a very important point, because when you know how your schedule is that day, know when you will use the device with the kid. Like, of course the AAC device is going to be accessible throughout the day, but if you feel strongly like this is some time that I can really utilize the maximum out of this device, maybe you get to have one-on-one time more, or you're aiming for group participation of the kid. Plan ahead when you will use this device strongly, so in that time you know that okay, this is the time that I will use it. Because without that plan, then it's going to be very haphazard and you might just get carried away by the day. Oh, we did this, we did that, oh, I missed using the AAC today. We don't want that, right? So next, setting yourself up for success in the fourth point is make goals you can achieve. Of course, I think predominantly when we're focusing on AAC, core words play a very, very important role. But that doesn't mean we just neglect the fringe words, because fringe words are also important for kids to achieve and master. And fringe words is actually all the fun stuff. If you can see this picture, there is glue tag, there is the monkey game that the kids play with me, there's puzzles, nail paint, because some kids love nail painting, and then bowling activity that we have when I'm playing with my kids. So there's different fun stuff that will actually want them to communicate too. So this also should be balanced, and especially the fringe words are nice to picture. Core words is not something that you can picture very easily, but fringe words, they can see the object and see what it is exactly in the AAC. So when you have that, make use of it. Once they start making that connection that okay, so with the I want the Play-Doh and I'm requesting for the Play-Doh with this picture, then it's easy for them to establish and map that understanding onto different core words and other words as well. And most important is also connect. You have to have connection with your kid and you have to have that rapport. Without that rapport, it's going to be very difficult, because if I don't like you, I don't want to talk to you, right? So what's that to talk about? They have to connect with you and they have to connect with what you're doing together. That's why I said earlier, choose high interest activities for the kids, and once you have that connection, the communication will flow. Now you have set yourself up for success. You have you have all the technical idea, you have familiarized yourself with the device, you know when you're going to do it. Now how you're going to do it, that's now you need to know how to do it, because with all this, if you don't know how to do it, then again we're going to lose. So this is a strategy that we have talked about a lot with AAC. When AAC, we are going to be modeling. There is no prompting with hand. Modeling is one of the common and highly advocated strategies when we're using AAC. And modeling is not just like, just like, okay, model, 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 but it's also to do with how you model it, right? For example, I'm just going to show you. So when I am having, because I've used AAC a lot, I have a rhythm to modeling. I know where the words are. If I know play, I know play. If I know more, I know more. I know all done, I know all done. Right? So I know where all these words are. I know the green words are all action words. I know all the blue words are descriptive words. And I know where the folders are. If I want to talk about mom and dad, I will go here. And if I want to talk about pronouns, I will talk about here. I, you, everything is here. So when I want to ask, I want this, I want this. Slime. So this is very easy for me because I have practiced so much with this and I have modeled so much with the AAC, right? So when we are in AAC, and you need to have that rhythm. If you don't have that rhythm, then you're going to lose the child's attention. Then they will get distracted, they will look somewhere else. So you need to have that practice. You don't have to practice, like I said before, with all the words, but with the activity itself that you're doing, you need to have that practice, because kids know when you have that rhythm, then they will immediately look at what you're pointing and what they need to do, because kids are very observant, right? You need to catch that quick attention and make full use of that time. So it's important to maintain the child's attention. So which activities you model, what will you model, you have to know everything prior. And if there is a way to access, okay, you can make sure that you sit at the child's level, at eye level, and how you position the iPad, all of it has an effect on how the child is going to respond, and also the consistency with which you model. Every day during this activity, my teacher models this word, so I know what to expect, right? So then the child will immediately feel very comfortable, very confident in wanting to respond to you. But if you're changing up the words, or you're switching the position, or you're doing something new, then the child does not know, the child does not have that consistency, so they feel lost. So, like, okay, everyday teacher is pointing to some word, I don't know what it is, I don't know what it means, right? So this is the bridge that we want to gap. This is the gap that we want to cover when we are modeling with the kids. And also model without expectation, meaning that don't force the kids to respond, don't ask them questions and make them point. When you model consistently, the child will pick up the AAC by themselves. Building routines. So yes, just like I said before, every day the child, when you're doing an activity with the child and you practice language with the child learns to predict. And when they learn to predict, it gives them comfort. They know that, okay, nothing is new here, I know this, I've got this. And then more repetition leads to learning, right? So once they start to communicate with you and they're starting to point to that first word, then you do it more and more, then they start to repeat every day, then they point more and more, and that really leads to learning. And when they start after they learn, they know the structure very well, they know the opportunities provided, then when you switch activities, they know what to expect, right? So all these things are very important to build routines with the AAC user in your class. And oh, yes, diversify goals. Don't get stuck on requesting. Requesting is a very important communicative function, because it tells you what the child wants. It helps reduce frustration and reduce them being upset in the class. It is very important, but that is not the only communicative function that we should work in class. There are other things like asking questions, like, teacher, can you say that again? Or like, what's this? Why? Why is a very favorite question for one of the students that I work with. Every time, why? Why? Some students have even asked me, really? So these kind of things will help you diversify the communication, so they don't understand that, okay, this is an app, whenever I want something I will ask. No, but to make friendships, to ask questions, to understand what's going on, all these functions can be explored in the AAC app. That's why we are recommending always for a robust communication app, and not just an app where you have like 10 visuals and you cannot go beyond a certain limit on that. So explore your different communicator function, allow them to make comments, allow them to reject and protest, like, I don't want this, stop. Let them say all these things. These are real world communicative utterances that they would need when they are going out. And then peer engagement. So to have the peer engagement, I have a video. Were you guys able to hear the video?
No, Villa. On
No?
my
Okay,
end.
I will share it again. I will share it again.
They do. Cars go.
Trains go.
Trains go.
Trucks go.
Trucks go.
Villa, sorry, you are muted.
I'm so sorry about that. Okay. All right. So now you saw the video, and you can see they were trying to model the word "go" with his brother, and you can see how the kid in the center is actively looking at what he's modeling. Right? He This kind of observation sometimes doesn't even happen with me, and they are so interested in their peers because kids really relate to people who are in their size, who look like them. Right? When they are doing something that is so interesting for them, but when I'm doing it might not be so interesting for them. So it's very, very important to build that relationship with peers in the class, so the kids feel included and not someone like, oh, I'm the only one who's using this in the room, so maybe something is different about this situation. But rather, when everyone explores it, like, oh, this is fun, I'm doing it with everybody. So let kids explore, let the peers explore the AAC device. This is something that I see too. Teachers always, like, whenever there's a new kid who is trying to come and take the device or explore the device, they say, no, this belongs to him and you cannot use it. Yes, it's true, it belongs to him, but you can allow the child to explore it, so the kid who is using the AAC, they will see that, okay, there's other kids who are interested in this and I want to use this too. Maybe this is something I can do, maybe that is something I can do. You want to pique their curiosity, right? You can have low tech if the AAC app itself is very disturbing the class. Next is kids. Yeah, like I said, kids don't want to be the only one who's in the class doing something different. They want to feel included, they want to feel like everybody is doing. So share the devices or do an activity together where each of them take turn. That might allow them to participate more. And also about support peers interacting with the user. So it's not just about the AAC user, the kid who is interacting with them needs to know how to use it too. So you need to be there to model and have fun along with them. Once you do that, then they will find the confidence to do it by themselves, but they need the support from you too. And stimming is okay. Stimming, I know that, sometimes it can be very loud and it can be a bit disruptive. So you can always tell them how to reduce the volume or reduce the volume during an activity. Stimming is not essentially bad, they are just exploring the device. If they are especially someone who's beginning or they are learning a new word, they're just stimming. Respond to the stim, acknowledge the stim, and eventually they will change into different words. But don't stop the stimming or don't pull away the device because a child is stimming. So, and last one, what is the mystery point that that you have to remember while implementing AAC, which is just totally winging it, which means that you can do all this planning, you can be very prepared, but still something might go wrong. Maybe the child is having a bad day, and you can never be fully prepared, right? You can have like 10 activities planned out for the day, and still everything might go wrong. So you have to be in a place where you learn to adapt to that situation and just go on with your confidence and do what you can best at that time. So I know the responsibilities of a teacher, I can understand how many activities that they have, but we need to take into consideration the kids perspective and work with what they have too. So, this is about the glasses. The glasses, when we started, we remember, right? When we had the glasses, it only helped initially the scholars. But because the books were made available, then everybody needed it. Then only innovations took place. So then so many other people started accessing education, right? So there was just not like, oh, only the scholars need the glasses to read books. Everybody needs to read books. The need changed. So that itself will cause more innovation. And solutions will continue to evolve. The same way, we should not think that, okay, this only person needs this AAC, I cannot use it in the class, or this is too demanding. But rather, when you start to address the need, you might find that there's so many other people who might need it, and you don't know. You didn't know it earlier. So we need to be inclusive in our mindset as well. Now it's time for questions. We have a little bit of time for discussion, but that's most of my presentation. I hope it was useful.
Thank you so much, Vila, for the beautiful presentation today. Anyone who have question, please, you may write in the chat box. Thank you.
While everyone is writing in the chat box, I did have a question earlier today about how to add icons in the AAC. So if you can see, I'll just go into this folder. This is Ava's app that we use frequently in the center. You just go to the menu, yeah, and then you click Edit Words, and then you click on one of the pluses, and it will ask you, do you want to add a word, you want to add a folder, or you want to add link to an existing folder? You click word and you type what word you want. Let's say we want to type run, and then you click the picture. It will show you different pictures for the word run. And then you can choose which one you want. And there's, see, if you can see, there's so many pictures. You choose which one you want and you click done, and then it will save the word. We are currently using Proloco to go. What's the best app to use for an intermediate user? See, Proloco to go is a good app. You can use Proloco to go even as a beginning or an intermediate user. It does not matter. If you feel like the if you feel like the words are too much or you feel like it's complicated, there is an option called progressive vocabulary in Proloco to go, which will have the same grid but also um reduce number of icons in the page, if that makes sense. So it's like you can still have the 7-Eleven grid, but there will be less icons. And when they are ready and they have mastered those words, you don't have to change the page, you just have to change the level in the progressive vocabulary, and it will add on words by itself. It's a pre-programmed option in Proloco to go. So Proloco to go is pretty good for all kinds of users. It does not have to be that, only an advanced user can use Proloco to go. But if you want to explore Avas, you can try that too. It's a very good app. Any robust communication app is good.
There you have it, Vila. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Um, for the 71st TDCC webinar. So if ever you have additional questions, please do email to us or to Vila Hashini. We already dropped her email also. And we will be sending you the recording of this webinar. Thank you, everyone. And we would like to invite you on October 28th for our upcoming webinar, From Meltdowns to Mastery, an Emotional Regulation Toolkit from the from the Psychology Department. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Vila.
Thanks everyone for joining.